Michael Grimm is now a three-term congressman. He's about to serve his third term. He got reelected easily in his district in New York City, of all places, even though he's a Republican. He's the sole Republican in the Congress from New York City. Now you say, why is that a big deal that he got reelected? Did he do something wrong? Well, okay, now there was a moment after the State of the Union this past year where he was talking to New York One Time Warner Cable News reporter Michael Scotto, and Scotto on air had asked him a question that Michael Grimm did not like. So then we had this interaction.
Why?
Let me be clear to you. You ever do that to me again, I'll turn you over. You're not made. You're not made. Like a boy.
And there's so many things to love about that clip. I'm gonna throw you up the fucking balcony. I'm gonna break you in half. But my favorite is, like a boy. You're not man enough. The only question is, what would break first? Your spirit or your body? I think it's your body, like a boy. So, of course, that's why Michael Grimm got in trouble, right? Nope, he didn't get in trouble at all for that. Grimm is weeping today, but it's not because of that. It's because he got convicted. Okay, now, first let me tell you how many charges he was up on, because this is fun. He was up on only a 20-count indictment that was handed down in April. By the way, he won re-election easily, even though there was already a 20-count indictment against him on things like tax evasion. I'm going to give you all the different things that he was up on in a second. Now, what did he plead guilty to and get convicted of? Grimm pled guilty to a single count of aiding in the preparation of false tax return in 2009 and also agreed to pay an undetermined amount of restitution to the IRS and New York State on tax returns dating from 2007 to 2010. Okay? This is fun. He apparently co-owned and ran a restaurant called Healthalicious. I wouldn't have guessed that this character ran a restaurant called Healthalicious. I might have guessed that he evaded his taxes on it. On the other hand, he's a Republican. He should have just gotten into court and be like, the whole point of the party is to evade taxes. You're going to find me guilty of that? Yeah, guilty as charged, of course. That's what I do professionally now as a congressman. Grimm faces a maximum sentence of 3 years in prison and is set to be sentenced on June 8th in arguably the highest profile public corruption case in New York in decades. So obviously he's going to step down now as a congressman now that he has pled guilty and he's convicted of a felony. Nope. Of course not. He's a Republican. He's like, who cares, man? I just got reelected and they knew I was a crook when they voted for me. No, and I got news for you. We're all crooks. I happen to get caught on that one. You wait till you see the legal bribes I take. So, no, he's got no intention of stepping down whatsoever. I'm amused that the Democrats are trying. Like Nancy Pelosi's outraged. She's like, somebody should do something about this. He should resign. And then Michael Grimm responded to her, I'll break you like a boy. Okay, no, he's not going anywhere. Now, what are the different charges that he was accused of? Grimm is also alleged to have solicited and accepted prohibited campaign contributions. Let's all say it together. Of course they did. Caused false information to be included in campaign finance reports and allegedly made a deal with a foreign national to collect campaign contributions in exchange for help getting a green card. Dude, you could already take so many, like millions of dollars in legalized bribes. Why did you bother taking illegal bribes? Campaign contributions, I should say. Oops, right? Because I guess he was generally right. He's like, I'm going to do everything under the sun, and then I'll make a deal. And once I make a deal, I'll get a tiny amount. You think he's going to jail? He faces 3 years. You think he's going to jail? No, he's among the elite, the powerful. He's not going to jail. Remember when they did a story about just a state delegate in Virginia who was a Democrat, and they gave him a jail sentence of 12 months. They said, okay, you're only going to serve 6 months. Oh, yeah, and the one part you're serving, you'll be out of prison from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you just have to come in and serve like a jail sentence like in a hotel. That's what happens to politicians. So Grimm ain't going to jail. He's going right back to Congress. He's going to the real big house. Okay, that's where Grimm's going. And he knew he'd get away with it. Part of the reason is he's a former FBI agent. Do you know that? So why did it take from April to now to finally get a plea deal here? Well, let's go to ABC News. First of all, they wanted to wait till after the election. If the prosecutors wanted to be tough on him, They would have made him either go to trial or get a deal before his elections. They had plenty of time, but they didn't want to. So ABC News explains. Plea negotiations had dragged on for months. Sources indicated the case against Grimm was solid, but not good for the Bureau, given Grimm's history as a former FBI agent. Oh, we got a great case. It's a solid case, but it's kind of embarrassing because he's one of our own. Welcome to America. This is how things work. That's him. He looks surprised in that picture, but he's not at all surprised. He knew this is how it was going to come out. That's why he did the plea deal after the election was over. And here's something else that's not surprising. Members of Congress do not automatically forfeit their office upon conviction of a felony. Now, many of those members of Congress argue that if you're a convicted felon, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. Most of those are Republicans. Almost all of them are. Because Republicans think, oh, felons, in their mind, more likely to vote Democratic. So, especially because we incarcerated so many black men in this country based on our war on drugs. So let's make sure they can't vote. Now, they can't vote, but as long as they're a Republican felon in Congress, they can serve in Congress. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, Michael Grimm will get the vote, not just in the elections. He'll get the vote as a congressman. He ain't going anywhere. Corruption has now become the norm in Washington. So they don't view Michael Grimm as some sort of, outsider to be shunned, some bad guy. No, he's part and parcel of the system. Michael Grimm, welcome back. Don't worry, you won't have to weep for long.